favorite lines by Robert Frost. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Yes, the teaching fraternity have lots of promises to keep and fulfill them too. Lots of stones still unturned. We have learned so much in this pandemic, and we have gracefully embraced all the challenges faced during the last year. We are braver than we believe, and stronger than we see, and smarter than we think. SAAR is working unceasingly to lend a helping hand to our teachers with continuous development programs, teacher trainings, awareness webinars. We are in this together, and we will get through this together. NEP 2020 is the talk of the new season. In today's webinar, we talk about how this policy seeks to change the landscape of Indian learning. We at SAAR Education take align ourselves with the changing times. We ensure effective implementation of NEP guidelines and help the education fraternity tide over this big change. I, Shifali Juneja, and my colleague Priyali
NEP 2020 in the classrooms for our children. Before we talk about the curriculum from SAAR Education, I would like to throw some light on the focus points of the NEP 2020 and what it talks about in a very brief way. The emphasis is on developing the creative potential of each individual. And they're not talking about academics, but talking about all-round development, not talking about just knowledge, but skills, not talking about lectures, but experiences and discussions. And that's what NEP entails. And that's exactly what we are trying to bring into each and every classroom that we have. It also says that education must develop the core competencies. And what are these competencies? Foundational capacities like literacy, numeracy, basic understanding of the world, higher order thinking, which involves critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Life skills, which talks about social, ethical, emotional, and behavioral dispositions. Now, we all know that change is the only constant in life. And at the moment, the education fraternity of India, the education system of India is standing at a very big juncture of a big change. And with a certain way, in a certain direction. And now, when I will explain this slide to you, you will realize that it's actually sort of a 180-degree turn. So what is changing? The frameworks, how keys, the structures, the age groups, and what happens in those in a big way. Curriculums are changing, not at what age and how it should be changed. All the knowledge through these 8 years from 16. It's changing now. According to the new structure, they've divided into 4 parts. One is the foundational, which we're going to talk in great detail. Then preparatory from ages 8 to 11. Then middle school from 11 to 4. Yeah. Shifali,
Yes.
there is still some background noise.
I request participants to
Please
please
mute
mute
yourselves.
yourselves. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about foundational stage in great detail in a bit. Now I'm going to talk about what are the main features of the curriculum that we have and how we've realigned our curriculum and our tools and resources to be able to implement and for effective implementation of the NEP 2020. So the curriculum that we have here and the realignment that we have done has equipped this curriculum to be child-centered, where each child is the center of attention, and whether it's a child who is to be put in the center, whether it's the different diverse backgrounds that they come from, or the person in charge of the teaching learning process in the classroom. Up till now, we've had mostly teacher-led processes in the classroom, but now it's time for us to shift from that and make it more child-centered, and that's exactly what we are trying to achieve through the curriculum. It's age appropriate. So if there is something that the child is ready to take and ready to digest and ready to understand, we give it to them only at that time and not before that. Yeah. Contextual. So everything is interlinked. There's a context to everything. There's a real life application to everything that they're learning, which makes it more meaningful. Cross-curricular. So again, talking about integrating EVS into maths into art into PE, and it happens so seamlessly that the child doesn't even realize they're not and they're learning. So it happens simultaneously. And of course, spiral, where we build each level from the previous one, where we take into account what the child has already got and already where the challenges are, and then we build it from there step by step. And if we do that, we are doing nothing but providing a wide range of learning experiences for our children. And when we do that, when we provide them a wide range of learning experiences, we are developing their higher order thinking skills, we are developing life skills, and of course, physical motor abilities. Yes. So just to give you a little overview, a helicopter view of the curriculum that we have and how we've got the progression here, is that we've divided into 5 grades, 5 levels: pre-primary 1, pre-primary 2, pre-primary 3, grade 1, and grade 2. So it starts with like recognition and writing of uppercase, lowercase letters in English, Varnmala recognition in Hindi, numbers 0 to 20 and all the operations in those numbers in math. EVS is over here is like a common strands, common learning strands, common themes that we have across, starting from PP1 to grade 2. STEM is something that we've added as a support, which makes our classroom, which make the teaching learning process more age appropriate, more cross-curricular, and more spiral. ICT, because we all know that today's time, things have changed drastically vis-a-vis technology. And technology has become a very, very integral part of our lives today, our children's lives today, because we had never thought of that, the children will be sitting at home and taking virtual classes, but it's happened. It's a reality now. And it's time that we embrace it and we make our children equipped with that understanding, and we teach this to them, this skill to them from the very beginning, so that when they reach a stage when they have to produce some output, they're ready to do that, whether it's on hands-on, whether it's through technology. Art. is something that is healing, it gives you a great scope for expression, for understanding the different diverse needs of our children, and gives them that kind of freeness and that freedom to express. And it has to be, an integral part of our teaching learning processes in the classroom. So moving on from there, we call it the intelligence multisensory pre-primary curriculum. And the best part about this curriculum is that it's a culmination, it's a compilation of award-winning, world-renowned pedagogies like Jolly Phonics, the Fitzroy method, Even More, Highlights, and Kids Creativity School, which have all come together to provide these major benefits, like literacy levels being 2 years ahead of their chronological age, to embrace diverse needs of children and give them all the multisensory input, to deal with all the different modalities of learning, and create safe spaces and more inclusive environments. So just to give you a little, I just wanted to have a look at this. These are the products that are part of the curriculum for all the grades from PP1 to grade 2. In addition to all these world famous pedagogies, we have added mobile applications. There are interactive softwares, different approaches that we have got as part of our books and teaching learning plans. Assessments have been looked at in a very different way, in a gamified way, where the children are giving assessments, but they don't even know that they are being assessed. So that's the way to do it, because there has to be, the child doesn't have to be stressed when they are being assessed. And the real assessment is all about. So it's actually amazing, and we'll get to know, you'll get to know more about these how these assessments happen in a short bit. Now I'm going to hand over to Shefali to talk about the language and literacy and how we go forward with that in the foundational curriculum. Shefali, over to you.
Thank you, Priyali. Just give me a second while I share my screen, please. Priyali,
I'll stop share.
Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So there is a particular pedagogy for each subject that we have. So language and literacy is covered through synthetic phonics. So you might be thinking, what is synthetic phonics? I'll just give you a very brief. When we learn alphabets, we learn the names as A, B, C, and so on. And when we learn to read and spell, we need to know the sounds. How do we spell that? So that sounds are really important. We learn to read and spell, we need to know, we need to know the sounds that the letters represent. For example, a word mat. So what is this word? At. So 3 sounds make this word, and we blend them together and it becomes mat. So blending is done from left to right, and when we write the word mat, we need to remember the words or the letters that represent that sound. So here we are segmenting the sounds that make up the word, and we actually individually, we sound out those words like at. We are segmenting. Now this explicit teaching of segmenting and blending, this is called synthetic phonics. In English alphabets, there are 26 letters that we have always been studying or we are teaching in our schools. But are they enough? They're not enough, because these 26 letters have 44 sounds, and their different combinations make so many other sounds. So we need to teach them these 44 sounds with different combinations, and this is not taught at once. This is given to them in bits and pieces, in progression. It's a very systematic way that we teach them. After teaching these 44 sounds, we teach them how to write the letter formation, followed by the spelling alternatives. Then we do the tricky words, and finally they're able to, with a lot of spelling rules also. So this is how the progression goes. And this is very well incorporated in our syllabus grade-wise, starting from PP1 till grade 2. And of course, our Hindi and English both are taught in with the synthetic phonics. So if you have a look at this, if you see these are 44 sounds here, 42 sounds, it's a very multi-sensory approach. We do a lot of storytelling, we do a lot of actions, we do a lot of songs with that. I will just give you an example now. I will just stop share and share my whiteboard with you. All right, so if I have to write, right. So if you see these words and you read out, it is rain, ray, and rake. The sounds that you get from here is A sound, as in AI, AY, as in, again, the sound is AI, and A-E is again AI. So why I'm sharing is that these are the complexities in English that you see. The sound is same, but when you're writing it, there are different ways of representing. The grapheme is different, right? So this is again a complexity, but we make it easy by giving this to our children in bits and pieces. These are called spelling rules. If I move ahead and I share my screen again, here it is. So this is what we talk about here, the 44 sounds. Give me a second. I hope you're able to see my screen. Okay, so these are the sounds that we cover from PP1 till before we go to grade 1. And in grade 1, we introduce a lot of spelling alternatives. So this all combination, the 44 sounds, the tricky words, the spelling alternatives, all this together, we are able to cover 95% of English very comfortably. While I just go to my, and also for a grammar, our Jolly grammar is action oriented, it is color coded, it is multi-sensory grammar. And here what we do is, for example, when I'm teaching nouns to children, they are color coded. The color for the nouns are black. And when I have to tell you the action, so for common nouns, it is this, right? So if I say school, my action would be this, but I say Shifali, I would say this, right? So this is the actions, they're the particular code. For pronouns, like I will point it myself, you, he, and she, right? The color code for pronouns is pink here. And adjectives, it's blue color. Yes. So if I say Shifali loves oranges, but I proper noun which is Shifali, and for verb the action is this. So Shifali loves oranges. When what will I say? Shifali loves, I would say Shifali loves juicy oranges, right? So this is a very beautiful multi-sensory approach, because to be able to communicate and speak correctly, we need grammar.
Shifali, you got muted.
Are you able to hear me?
Now better. Yeah, now, yes.
So this is a multi-sensory approach where we are doing a lot of things actually. So with this, the child is able to seep in the rules very comfortably with ease. It's fun. So this is a very easy way of teaching grammar also. So if I move ahead, give me a second. I also talk about some complexities in English. One complexity in English here is that our English language has a lot of borrowed loan words from other foreign languages. So for example, a word like spaghetti, a word like ski, spaghetti is an Italian word. If I talk about ski, it's a Norwegian word. Menu. What do you think menu is? Menu is a French word. A word like flu, it's a abbreviation. So what I want to say here is that when we try and break or apply our phonic knowledge in these foreign loan words, it would not work. So with this, we always have to tell the child that you have to or for adults, we have to understand, or we have to look up the dictionary, that where is this word coming from? What is the origin of the word? So whatever rules or sounds that we teach are basically for English. So we should, as adults, as teachers, not get confused ourselves. So like the next complexity, which I had already shared with you, is that one sound can have different sounds. For example, take the sound E. It can be spelled in different ways, like me, keep, seat, eve, chief, funny, key, receive, variation, and people. But my dear friends, there are many rules to explain this, why it is E in the end, or double E, or why do we write IE, and how it is sounded out. So this is also taught to our children. So one spelling can have different sounds. The letter E is pronounced differently in these words. For example, in the word and, the beginning sound is A. In any, you can see A, but how is it said? It's E. In April, you can see the grapheme A, but the sound is A, right? For want, the sound is O, but we're writing A. About, it's A, right? So these are the complexities that might make you confused and feel that English is funny. But it's not funny if we give the right spelling rules, right important information about how these words should be decoded with the right correct information. The children will never get confused. And so do we. So all this are, I had to tell you that our Fitzroy readers from Australia are all based on synthetic phonics. In that readers, you will have one story, one sound, and some special words. So they are graded very beautifully, age appropriate. I will just take you to a walkthrough for this. Priyali, you will just have to tell me that if you can hear the sound when I play. And now, let's have a closer look. Are you able
Yes,
to
it's
hear?
fine. I can hear.
All right. It's gone back, I think. So again. It got stuck, I think. Just give me a second. I will just share it again. All right, we'll come back to this. I think it's getting hanged. So we'll come back to this. I think Pirali is getting stuck. Like, share your screen for me, please. So Priyali, would you like to share the screen for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just give me a second.
Yeah. So I'll give you a closer look how our Fitzroy readers work actually. Thanks, Priyali. Priyali, we can't hear. You'll have to share the computer sound. Just stop share and share it again.
Very subtly graded readers takes the child through, starting from the simplest right to the most sophisticated text, teaching one new thing about how the words are read and spelled. For example, the first book, A Fat Cat, focuses on the sound eh. The book 21 focuses on the TCH making the sound ch. And the reader 60 focuses on CH making the sound k. The main idea behind this readers is to familiarize the students with 26 basic letter sounds, about 50 spelling patterns, and 50 special words that empowers them to tackle 95% of the English language words independently. The Word Skills books contain 7 different activities focusing on 7 different language skills like comprehension, creative expression, both oral and written, spellings, etc. Just like the readers, the Word Skill books are also subtly graded, expecting outcome at various levels, starting from the most simple, like one-word answers in the book 1, to more complex expectations like a full sentence answer in reading number 19, which gets even more complex by reading number 60, where the student is expected to write long answers. The book contains all the answers for all the activities in the word skills. The teacher's guide contains all the necessary information on synthetic phonics, and the resource CD contains all the one needs to conduct lessons based on the synthetic phonics.
All right. So if this is about our Fitzroy walkthrough, and even if you missed it, it's available on the YouTube. You just have to write down Fitzroy Readers Walkthrough, and you'll get an insight on these books. So when we talk about PP1, that's pre-primary, we introduce an eh sound. Now I'm talking about the sound progression. We introduce an eh sound as in hen, right? And next level we teach e sound as in bee, right? Next, Priyali, please. Right. We also teach them spelling alternatives, E saying the E sound as in red, S sounds, I'm sorry, it's S sound, like red, bread, weather. Then the E sound as in double E or EA. So here I'm talking about the progression, how the spelling alternatives is taught to them grade-wise. So this is again a story, it's a comprehension about a story. So when the child is doing a story or reading a story, the child has to do this page of this a comprehension based on the story. So depending on which grade he is in, if he's in pre-primary, the teacher would read out the questions to him. The child would not try and read himself, and the child can answer in one word. And that's how the length of the answers can increase. And later on, at later stage in grade 1 and 2, the child can start reading the question on his own. Next, please. This is again a comprehension. These are all the follow-up activities, exercises that we do after the reading the story. Yeah, next please. So this was about our English. Now, our Hindi curriculum is also based on synthetic phonics. We use the same pedagogy, which is synthetic phonics. Hindi is a completely phonic-based language. हम वर्णमाला पढ़ाते हैं जो हिंदी का बेसिक कोड है, और हर वर्ण से आरंभ होने वाले शब्द सिखाते हैं, जैसे कि क से कबूतर, ग से गमला. फिर इन वर्णों को जोड़कर शब्द बनाते हैं, जैसे कल कल, पल पल, जल जल. अक्षर से शब्द बनते हैं, शब्द से वाक्य. Similarly in English, with sounds we make words, and with words we make sentences. असल में शब्दों की आवाज और उनकी बनावट ही सबसे आवश्यक है। हिंदी में मात्रा के रूप होते हैं और कुछ नियम भी होते हैं, जैसे we did spelling alternatives of A. Similarly, there are spelling alternatives in Hindi, जैसे र। और अगर हमें एक वर्ड सिखाना है बच्चों को, जैसे कि किसान, तो हम क्या सिखाएंगे? कितनी साउंड्स हैं उसके अंदर, कितनी ध्वनि है? कि, सा, न, ना की पे ई की मात्रा, स पे आ की मात्रा, न। आई रिमेम्बर माई चाइल्डहुड बट व्हेन वी डिड दिस। पर हम क्या, कितने ग्राफीम्स हैं? 3, की, सा, न। Another one, या, नी. So if you see, this is the way we teach our Hindi also, and our Hindi books are also based on that same way. One story, one sound, and some new words. Can we move ahead? Okay, this is one story, that is Makdi or Kida. इसमें हम ई की मात्रा सिखा रहे हैं. So if you see on the left side, you will see ई की मात्रा कैसे लगाई गई है? की, खी, गी, घी, ची, छी, जी, जी. और उसके बाद एक थोड़े से हमारे जो स्पेशल हैं वो हमने लिखे हैं, जो स्पेशल वर्ड्स इसमें हैं वो हैं मैं और हूं. और हमने जो पहले वाले चैप्टर में जो हमने साउंड्स पढ़ी थी उसके रिवीजन भी होगा. So if you see, एक चमकती मकड़ी आई, सीढ़ी चढ़कर जगह बनाई. Next please. बड़ा जतन किया दिन रात, तभी बना जाला विशाल. मकड़ी छिपी बिना आवाज, खड़ी रही ताकती शिकार. बिन खाए वे थी लाचार, और फिर दिन बीत गए 4. Next. तभी उड़कर एक कीड़ा आया, महीन जाला था समझ न पाया. मकड़ी चलती धीमी चाल, आ गई शिकार के पास. ठाका लगाती कहती मकड़ी, ताकत बिना मैं थी अकड़ी. झटपट मत कर कीड़ा राजा, आज मिल गया कीड़ा ताजा. वह कीड़ा था समझदार, मान नहीं सकता था हार. कीड़ा कहता मकड़ी रानी, ठहर न कर अब मनमानी. आ जाता हूं तगड़ा बनकर, तब खाना अपना जी भरकर. So this is how the story is based on E. And then we will have the question answers based on this. And of course, the HOTS, which is high order thinking skill questions. Next, please. Over to you, Priyali, for this.
Thanks, Shefali. Can you? Yeah, so talking about numeracy, I'm going to take you through a little video. Why is it not moving? So the approach that we use here to teach maths to our children is called the concrete pictorial abstract, which is called the CPA approach. And it is very, very nicely, beautifully embedded in our books and our teaching learning plan that we have. So what happens is that we teach and teach and teach, and we think that they've got it. But one day we realize that they have started to fear because of the innumerous amount of practice that we've made them to do, and in numerous worksheets we've made them to do. We realize that they've actually started to fear it or escape it instead of gaining mastery. Yeah, so what is the solution? What can we do so that they don't fear math and they actually gain mastery over the skills of numeracy? To be able to do that, we first have to understand that there are lots of questions, why it happens is, why this fear begins to develop is because there are lots of questions in children's minds which remain unanswered. Like, why do we write tens and ones and hundreds and tens and ones? How does the value of a digit change just by writing it in a different place? Ones cannot hold more than 9. Why so? Why do I have to make a group of 10 always? Why can't we make a group of 4 or 6 or 5? Can someone simply simplify, borrow, or carry over for me? Why does 3 become 13 when I carry over? So lots of questions like that. Before we move on, I want to show you this video.
a
Shefali,
country
can
that
you
is
hear?
consistently ranked at the top of many international math tests,
Yes, I
uses an engaging way of teaching math. It is great, especially for young learners, the CPA method. CPA stands for Concrete, Pictorial, Abstract. The father of the CPA method is Jerome Bruner, an American psychologist, and in his research on children's cognitive development, he proposed 3 stages of math representation. The first stage involves tangible, hands-on objects like paper, coins, or building blocks. The second stage involves visuals to represent the concrete situation enacted in the first stage. We can draw images on paper, use shapes, diagrams, and graphs. Only does the third stage involve letters, numbers, and symbols to represent images from that second stage. This CPA method helps students visualize topics by making it easier to understand in 3 simple stages. Let's use fractions as a quick example. Which is bigger, 2/3 or 2/4? Well, in the concrete stage, we give students food. We divide one pizza into 3 pizzas and take another pizza, divide it into 4 pieces. We give students 2 slices from each. It's easy for hungry students to focus and understand which is bigger. Well, in the pictorial stage, we draw the pizzas as circle fractions, using that same concept to reinforce that concrete step. Only after students are all comfortable do we move to the abstract stage. The CPA model uses...
So, the optimal teaching sequence, which in this case is concrete. We use real life objects and concrete manipulatives to give the concept to the children and let them do things rather than just see or hear or read. Then we give them pictorial stimulus and get that understanding to develop through pictures. Then we move on to abstract and we use symbols like 1, 2, plus, minus, and others. So a CPA approach is a gradual progression from tangible objects to visuals to symbols, giving students strategies to tackle math problems rather than just looking for the answer, and different ways of doing things. Same answer, but how you can reach that answer through different ways is what you actually teach them, because maths is all about thinking, convergent and divergent thinking. One problem, many solutions. We have to find out the best solution and the fastest one. So how do you do that? Only when you know the different possible ways to reach that solution can you find out which is the best one. It solidifies mathematical concepts by gradually building connections in our brain. Now, what are the broad structures of mathematics? What are the broad areas with which we work? The first one is number sense, the quantification of numbers. What is the symbol? What does it mean when you hold that? If you say 7, what does it mean? How does it look? Then we talk about operations. After number sense is built and is developed and the children understand what numbers mean, we talk about number operations and comparing the numbers. So we, big, small, more, less, ascending, descending orders. And then, of course, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. All these operations, we work with that. And everything is happening in the same sequence. We give them concrete experiences, hands-on experiences. We move on to pictorial stimulus, and then we move on to abstract. And then the last and final step is all this understanding and this knowledge be put to real life use. Because otherwise math is meaningless. If you study math and can't use it in real life, it's absolutely meaningless. So the last and final achievement level is when the child is able to apply the knowledge of maths and the skills of maths into the real life. So I remember, and let's look at this cone of learning by Edgar Dale. He says that we absorb 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, about 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we say, and 90% of what we do. So when we do things, we've got to remember it. The possibility of remembering it throughout our lives is much more. It's 90% that we will remember it throughout our lives. And to be able to do that, what we have within the included in the curriculum is the manipulatives, the objects that we use to make it hands-on, to make it possible for children to do things rather than just listen or read or hear or see. So these are the few examples of the kind of manipulatives we have. This is the feely bag, where children can put their hand in, feel the things, take them out, talk about them. Math rod. Then we have games like bingo and their slips. We have flashcards, brain gym stations, posters. If you see the number string, where children can actually use beads and hold beads to quantify, do skip counting, and many other activities. So just to give you an example of how it works, if you can see this board, so we start with concrete. So these are the unit pieces in my hand, if you can see. These are the rods, the tens rod. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there is a block of 100, a square of 100. So we give them experiences where they can touch, feel, do, and work out their problems through the concrete manipulatives. Then we move on to this pictorial representation, where they have the same Dean's blocks in a pictorial manner. And then we move on to abstract, which is just numbers and language. So they read and they match. So just to give you an idea of the 3 stages and the 3 levels on which we work. Now I have a video for you. This is just a walkthrough of the way we give, along with our curriculum, the books and the tools and all the manipulatives and everything. We also have very well laid out and planned teaching PPTs, presentations. We can call it the digital classroom conduction resource. And it works in physical scenario, and it works very well in the virtual scenario as well. So just to take you through a little snippet of what it entails and what it looks like, is that this is a oops. So the key focus areas, teaching plan 1.1, the setting, it's a whole class activity where children are counting. There's a little story, there are questions. So if you see, we have questions in a designated box, and the teacher doesn't need anything else to teach. She just needs to look at this PPT, show it to the children, and just follow it through to be able to teach the math concepts. Again, the setting, whole class activity, little excerpt from the book. These are all images from the books. So children can, what they can see in their book, they can also see it on the board. These are all the keywords. Again, it's a whole class activity. Then this is an individual activity where children are supposed to work independently. The instructions are given. The book, the page of the book where they're supposed to work is also there. And all the instructions are there. So it says, observe the illustration carefully, use tense frame. So the manipulative is given, represent the number of houses, write the answer, and hold up to show. Again, an individual activity. So that's it. And I'm now going to take you through.
Priyali, if you've got enough time, you can easily, tell them about PPT, how
Okay.
it works. Yeah, thank you.
So it's pretty self-explanatory. If you need me to, yeah. This is a paired activity. So each and every activity is planned very, very meticulously. And it gives you, this PPT gives you a great idea of how to, sorry.
It's fine. It's inbuilt. Let it go.
Yeah. So it's inbuilt.
So to add on, these are videos that you will find with the PPTs. So the teachers can learn from this, and if you want, you can show it to the children also in the class. So that's what it's teacher resources. Yeah.
Hi, kids. Let's all count from 1 to 20. We'll count from 1 to 20 3 times, and each time we'll count faster.
Count, count, count with me. Count with me from 1 to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Great job!
So if you see this activity, it's a group activity. It's a big teams activity. So the entire chapter is broken down into simpler pieces, and there are activities attached with it. The questions that you need to ask are given. The instructions that the teacher needs to give is all there. And in the notes, right now you're not able to see because it's a video of the presentation, the slideshow. In the notes area of the presentation, the teaching plan is all given. The whole of the teaching plan is there in the notes section of the PowerPoint presentation. So fun activities, art integrated into maths. So this is, Shifali will talk about it a little later, about the games and all the fun things. So a group discussion. So it's
So
got
in the end of
extra
the
worksheets.
PPTs, you have the
Yeah, you have
worksheets
extra
and you have the
worksheets.
assignments.
Yeah. And there's a link which you click and you can get a printable worksheet. Same goes for assessments. You have the assessment through the mobile app and you have the assessment through the paper, in the paper form as well. Now I'm going to quickly show you one more video again. And this is a video of one of our EVS chapters about plants and how we have, made it very multisensory, incorporating activities as well as, audio visuals into the teaching learning process. Have a look. So the key focus areas are these. The first activity is a group discussion on plants. What you're supposed to do, sitting in a circle, some of you will get to speak, wait for your turn and listen carefully to the speaker. Then the questions that the teacher needs to ask is all written there. What are the sizes? What are the kind of plants you see? Do they have flowers, leaves, fruits? And a group discussion about what are the kind of plants they've seen all around them. The keywords and the group discussion. Do all plants have flowers? Have you seen plants without flowers? Then an activity, a hands-on activity where children do something to understand the whole theme, the topic. And we all know once we do things, we never forget them. Then activities embedded to do virtually as well as on pen and paper, because the same thing is available with the children in a book form. I'll just show it to you. So what you had over there, it's there in a book form as well. So another hands-on activity with leaves, where children, and of course an art link. Then we have a way to
Sing a song of flowers, flowers all around. Flowers that are growing, growing in the ground. Flowers of every color, they look so pretty too. Red and pink, orange and yellow, blue and purple too. Red, pink, orange, yellow, blue and purple too. Sing a song.
So now an activity on flowers. That was conduct an activity, and then conclude by another activity, which is making flowers through paper. Another video.
Stem grows above the ground.
So it talks about the stem.
It helps the plant to stand firm. It bears leaves, flowers, and fruits. The stem also carries water, minerals, and food prepared by the leaves to the different parts of the plant. There are
now an activity on to show the children how STEM works, how STEM transports the minerals and water and everything from the roots to the different parts, and then food back to the whole plant. Another video.
Sid has come to the park with his mother. Come, let us join them. Wow, this tree is so strong. I wonder what makes it so strong that it doesn't break even when so many monkeys sit on it. Have you also wondered what makes a tree this strong? Well, it is its strong stem. You already know that the stem is the part of a plant that grows above the soil. The stem of a tree is very thick and strong. The stem supports a tree.
The best part about these class conduction resource is that the teacher does not need to, I mean, of course, if the teacher is creative and she really has the time and space to find out and really research and, you know, find out resources,
This fresh,
great.
juicy,
But
pulpy red ball
there's
is a
teacher
part
who
of most of the
does not-
delicacies
do
that we
you know,
relish while
everything is
eating.
embedded here. Everything is
Can
there,
you tell me
like
whether a
complete
tomato
package,
is a
and you
vegetable
just,
or a
you know,
fruit?
use this and
Some say it's
and
a fruit,
your
while
objective
others
is met.
say it's a vegetable. And which is the right answer? Let's find that out. To know this, we must first know what exactly a fruit is. For a layperson, it's simply a pulpy sweet.
Now we're talking about fruits.
Hello, kids, and welcome to my show. Today, let's talk about plants. Plants are very similar to humans. And just like humans have different body parts doing different things, similarly, plants too have different parts for different functions. Interesting, isn't it? Let me tell
Like
you
a
what the
recap
important
video,
parts
which is
of a plant
recapitulating
are.
all the aspects that we
Leaves,
have gone through and
bud,
we've learned about
flower,
in the chapter.
stem, fruit, and roots. Let's take a closer look at the buds that protect the
Then we're talking about types of plants. And then there's a video about the types of plants.
Hello, children. Welcome to the beautiful world of plants. Some climb up, while others crawl. You can find plants growing everywhere. On the land and on mountains. On rocks, on walls, and in places that are very hot and very cold.
Then there's a worksheet and a lot of worksheets actually. Then another video, like a recap.
These plants don't. They do a lot for me. I have never seen them do anything.
So the uses of
They
plants.
can't
Why
even
are
move.
plants important?
We all depend on plants directly as well as indirectly. Of course not. They depend on us for water, manure, etc.
Even home assignments are indicated. Whatever the home assignments the teacher needs to give to the children, it's all spelt out. It's all laid out for the teacher already. The printable form is available. Then a recap, a visual recap of all that we have learned in the chapter. The fruits, leaves, stem, roots, and what do they give us? And what are the types? And it grows where? Where do we find plants? So like a recap, the children read it from the book, the teacher flashes the sentences, and the children answer. So the higher order thinking skills, exploration, and values and life skills, group discussions on this. Again, assessments, if you click on the assessment through test paper, it will take you to the PDF that you can print and you can give it to the children. And it also, if you click for assessment through mobile, it takes you to the game application where you can assess the child in a fun way. Over. So now over to Shefali again to talk about STEM. Thank you.
Thanks, Priyali, for explaining, so beautifully and in detail and with patience. Thank you so much. I'm sure our audience would have really felt how our PowerPoint presentations of each lesson is made in so much detail. Thank you so much. So if you allow me, can I share my screen, please?
Yes, I'll just stop share.
Yeah, thank you. Are you able to see my screen, please?
Yes, Shefali, visible.
All right, thank you. So we are talking about a STEM-based curriculum. It is an important part in our lives now, so which is science, technology, engineering, and maths. So what is STEM? Which is, I just told a recap, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It is not a subject at school, actually. It's the way of thinking and doing. It is an important skill set that puts generations working together to solve some of the world's greatest challenges. It pervades at every part of our lives. STEM involves hands-on and minds-on lessons for students. So science is everywhere in the world around us, and technology is continuously expanding into every aspect of our lives. Engineering is the basic designs of roads and bridges, but also tackles the challenges of changing global weather and environmental friendly changes at our homes. Mathematics is in every occupation, every activity we do in our life. So by exposing students to STEM and giving them opportunity to explore STEM-related concepts, they will develop a passion for it, and hopefully let's understand how the STEM works in our curriculum now. So it's not a new subject, but it is a way of living and thinking. It's designing learning. It's collaborative problem solving. It's deep, very knowledge of science, technologies, and maths. And it's critical and Two 2% of the global employers agree that employees with STEM qualification are valuable. But one question that a lot of people ask and comes to your mind, if you hear these words, which is science, technology, engineering, what is the right age to start? Don't you think this question comes to your mind? So what do you think? Is there an age to start that? There isn't any age, because science is all around us. Engineering is all around us. So younger students at foundation level can't do STEM is a myth, my friends. We start this from pre-primary. And I will give an example how we take care of all this. So in our books that you see, the STEM curriculum is very beautifully made. For example, this is a curriculum that I'm going to show you. This is a book that I'm showing you for grade K, which is kindergarten. Here we're talking about our body and how the changes happen. So it's a story-based challenges that we give. The story here goes like, this is a concept basically, how a baby grows to a big kid. If you see the picture then and now, you can see the visual and see how the baby is small, the height is less, and how after a few years, the child grows. So my name is Mia. In school, I learned that living things grow and change. A long time ago, I was a baby, and now I'm 5 years old. And I was younger, I crawled, and then I learned to walk. Now that I'm 5, I can run fast, and I even know how to ride a bike. My mom says she remembers when I was only 2 feet tall. Now, 3 feet tall. I'm growing into a big kid. So here we're giving them the concept with a story, and we talk about sheets that do acceptability or understanding what they have understood here. So here they are doing answer the question. So do both of them have the teeth? So there's a baby shown and there's a girl of like 5-6 years old. So do both of them have teeth? They have to, with their experience, they have to give the answers here. Is the girl taller than the baby? Can the baby and the girl ride a bike? Do the baby need carry? One-on-one. So here they are drawing and matching, right? So then and now. Again, this is again a concept building worksheet. We're talking about sequencing, fine motor skills, the visual discrimination. And now is the challenge time. I'm giving a challenge. Listen to my challenge. My name is Javed and I need your help. When I was a little baby, I slept in a crib at night. But now my body has changed. I'm taller and I weigh more. I'm a big kid now. Can you help build a bed that won't break when I lie down? So this is the challenge that I would give to my children, that this little boy Javed, and you have to make a bed for him, right? For him to lie down. So what would I give him here is, here the objective is design and construct a bed that can hold a toy. So the children have to collaboratively, design a bed, and the bed should hold a toy, a baby doll maybe. The challenge is bed must hold a stuffed animal or toy for at least 15 seconds, right? And bed must be lifted off the ground by at least 2 inches. So the height should be just above the bed, above the floor, 2 inches, and it should hold the toy for at least 15 seconds. The suggested material we have given, which is tape, paper, shoebox, or whatever they find around them, they have to look for it. They have to use their reasoning skills. They have to understand कि हम क्या ऐसा चीज ढूंढे, so that we are able to create a bed which is 2 inches tall. Now, here what we will do is, what are the some, why do you think, we will ask the child, what are the some reasons a child would need a bed? The child will say, oh ma'am, he wants to rest, he wants to sleep, or he wants to just lie down and have fun. What do you think the shape of the bed would be? Somebody might say square, somebody might say rectangular, somebody might say, a circular. So we are open to any answers that they give. How heavy is the stuffed animal, right? So they will have to they will have to plan something. They have to look for materials all around. They will draw it somewhere. This is the kind of a box that they will create, or something in a form of a drawing. They will sketch it, that how do they want their bed to look like. We're not looking professional or designer drawings, but anything that they create out of their own mind. Then they create the bed. That this is an activity that teacher is going to conduct in the class collaboratively with all the children. It's not individual activities. Then the child will, when he constructs it, actually, he will place the doll and he will test it whether the box, with the rectangular box that he has created a bed, is the child, is a bed able to hold the doll for at least 15 seconds. He'll try that, he will test it. And if he fails in that, maybe the leg breaks, or the doll is too heavy, or whatever. So what will happen is, child will understand that, oh, there is some problem. Probably I put a very heavy doll in this, or probably my box is not strong enough. So the child is actually exploring it himself, and there is a chance for creating it again. So it is what did he do? He planned, he created a bed, an artificial bed, using any materials with their friends' help or the teacher's help. Then they tested it, and they will mark it there, did it work or not. So if they didn't work, they will have to do it again. So, teachers, what is involved in this? All 4 things, which is science, technology, engineering, and maths. And how? Let's see. So, so the topic is myself. The child is growing, isn't it? So when the child was baby, he was just able to crawl. When he grew up, he started walking with help. Then after some time, he started walking on his own. So here the topic is myself, where our environmental science is covered, right? And in the maths, the big and small shape, the 3D shapes that he would be using to make a bed. So again, maths involved, and we've also maths is indirectly involved here. And we're talking about engineering. So the child is, he's creating a solution. He's following the design steps, which is plan, create, test, and reflect. So he planned it. He drew a rough design that how does he want his the bed to look like. He created with all the material available with him. He tested it and he reflected. That means he reflected what went wrong with my bed. The teacher would help, or they might get into a collaborative discussion that one child would say, oh, your bed, the box that you've taken, Rohan, is not very strong. Let's take a better and a bigger shoe box. So this is how they're going to explore on their own, actually. And now the 4th part, which is technology, which is designing technology, how they designed the toy bed, what all they needed to do that. So this is one simple example that we've taken up from grade K, which is the kindergarten, which is the play school, pre-primary. A small example, I've taken another one from grade 1, which is all kinds of rocks. Here we are talking about the rocks, big, small, smooth, hard. And what we are doing is the story that concept story here is Maya and Fuyu went for a walk. They found a lot of rocks. Fuyu looked at the rocks' colors. She saw some rocks had one color, some rocks had many colors. She washed off the rocks and saw even more colors. Then Maya touched the rocks. Some felt smooth and some felt rough. Some were hard and some were shiny and some were a little crumbly. One broke when Maya touched it. That's okay, said Maya. I just made another rock. So what are they doing? They are feeling the rocks. We're touching upon the tactile also. So here we're talking about rocks here, and all their previous experience and observations that all other rocks are the same color. Do all the rocks feel the same? Are they all smooth? Are the rocks all of the same size? And so there are some concept building worksheets that we can do with them. These are all in the book. And then we give them a challenge. So they have to make a rock mandala. Jenny and her father went for a walk in the forest. Look at all these rocks, said Jenny. Let's collect and make a mandala, said Jenny's father. What's a mandala? Asked Jenny. It's a big circle with different patterns. We can use the spoon rocks, bumpy rocks, and rocks with a lot of colors to make it, said Jenny's father. Help Jenny and her father to make a mandala with the rocks and other things you find in the nature. So we're asking the child to make a mandala with different kind of rocks. Now see what the child would do. Again, the challenge is that he has to make a mandala, use all the things found in the nature, and at least you use 2 different kinds of rocks, rough and smooth, small and big rocks. So the child would, find out the twigs, the leaves, the flowers, the rocks, and the gravel, whatever he finds in the environment, in the school park or in the society park, or just wherever he finds it in the vicinity. And then he plans it, then he creates it, then he does a test to find out, was he able to make the mandala? This is the test, right? So I will, actually, one of our schools who use STEM have been, posting us so many videos about how they're, using STEM and how are the children doing. I'll show you a beautiful video how. So this is the plan they created. So the teacher asked them to create a mandala. So this is what the child created while he was planning it. Then this is how it looked after it made. Can you see the twigs and the flowers, the colored stones here, and the leaves are also of different sizes, big, small, so many of them. So I will show you the video now, a small fast track video. That's it. So see how beautifully the child is able to actually create the rock mandala. So the teachers can think about what skills involved. If you're involving language also, we're talking about, we're giving them new vocabulary like rough, smooth, big, small, soft, twigs. So basically it is the STEM curriculum is actually integrated. So this is how beautifully. So now can you think that it's so easy to incorporate this? You have everything in the books, in the STEM books. These designs, these pictures that I show you are the plans that I had shared with you are all from the books. So this is what our STEM curriculum involves actually. From this now, I will move to our arts curriculum. So why arts here? Because just now you saw how they created a mandala, which is an art form, and from the things available in their vicinity. So I would talk about our art school, and we've really talked about it for years and years, how art is incorporated or integrated with mathematics, but we incorporated with all the subjects here. It's a cross-curricular approach. So our books are inspired by the work of great artists like Pablo Picasso, Piet Mondrian, and Raza Nekchand, and many more. I believe that studying the life and the art of the masters is a fabulous way to help children learn, to reflect upon, and share their own ideas, emotions, and unique perspective on the world. Each and every artist included in this collection has a very unique view of the world from which we can learn so much. There are a range of art styles included in this list, everything from impressionism to abstract to pop art. So I am confident you will find a style and story that fulfills or fills your child's mind with wonders. So how our curriculum, I will show you actually in my art book in the digital form to make you understand more. So what we do is our curriculum, our art school is based on the elements of the art and the principles of art. So elements of art, which is line, form, shape, texture, value, color, and space. So out of our activity books include activities based on all the elements of the art. And if I just stop share and share my art book with you, just give me a second while I do that, please. So if you see, I will take you through my arts school books. You will see there's a beautiful video to introduce the topic in the class. There's a beautiful teacher's manual, teacher's guide for teacher's instruction. Because if, for example, if she's talking about Pablo Picasso, so she'll be able to read about his style of work and should be able to deliver better in the class. And there are lovely background music that you can play while your child is doing work in the class. So it's been studied and it's been researched that if music is added while the child is working at the background music, the child becomes more interactive, the child becomes more focused, and of course he enjoys that art activity. So let me take you through this, please. Just give me a second while it takes time to open. All right, so can you see this? The book here, can you just show me a thumbs up if you can see? Are you able to see? Priyali, can you answer? Are you able to see? No, I'll share it again. Now can you see?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So this is our digital book that you see. So with you have instructions here, you have extra downloadable theme-based printable worksheets, and you have extra 16 pages in the books for you to do sketching and scribbling. These are extra worksheets based on artists, birds, animals, and mandalas, and theme-based worksheets. So if you see, there are 30 activities in one book. 1 to 10 activities are based on the elements of art, which is line, form, texture, shape, form, right? So this is it. So if I talk about, if I show you our first activity, this is grade 1. I will just zoom it up and show you. This is giving wings to the national bird. If you want to show the video, you will click the video from here and show the video.
Lines, 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 lines. Lines are all around you and me. Long or short or thick and thin they'll be. Curvy, wavy, broken, fancy free. Look around, how many can you see? Yeah, a horizontal line you should know. From left to right or right to left it goes. It seems calm and soothing and really slow. A horizontal line you should know. A vertical line you should know.
So I'm not playing the whole video. So this is how you will, introduce and the lines here. This is lovely videos for teachers also to understand, because we're not, all proficient in this, but with these watching this video, we learn it. And of course, the children will love this. After this, if I zoom the activity in this, what they have to do is, you have to make different styles, line styles in this. If I zoom this here, it's taking some time. Okay, so I will just, if you see, there are different kinds of lines: curvy lines, sleeping lines, straight lines, then round lines. So actually, if you're using the software and on the smart roads, you can actually use this and draw lines and make any art here. So of course, you're doing it in your notebooks, but you actually let the child come to the board and do it here also. They would really love it, right? So what we are doing, and there'll be lovely music while the child is doing this. And we're talking about the national bird of our country, which is the peacock. So, how beautifully everything is integrated here. So here we are doing the national bird fact. We are doing the pattern drawing, and the element of art, which is line, is incorporated here. And if I play the music, you will hear the music of Vande Mataram. I don't think you can hear. Okay, here it goes. Sorry for stopping it. It was mesmerizing. Yeah, because this is how, if we got lost in this music, imagine how our children would love to work on these works, So this is one example. I will flicker to, all of them, but not spend much time in this. They are drawing flowers. They're making a hat. They're using shapes here. They're making Eiffel Tower here. And the color wheel, we're talking about the primary and the secondary colors here, how the colors are mixed and we make a wheel out of it, how the primary colors made, right? The secondary colors made. So these are the books. We're talking about meal times here. So here, we're talking about the meal times, the warm and the cool colors. So we're doing coloring and patterns here. So with every activity, you will have an additional video. You will have the music, and you will have all information for a teacher as a teacher's instruction. So here we're talking about Keith Haring. Is an American artist. He usually makes, graffiti drawings, graffiti-inspired drawings. And he's talking about space here, a form of elements of art. His style of art is known as pop art. This is the kind of, if you read about it, this is the kind of art he does. It's called a pop art. So basically, we're telling children how to. We're also talking about art appreciation. What is art appreciation? We're talking about the artists and their expertise and how are they, talking about art. So that's art appreciation. This is Claude Monet, and so on. So we're talking about, mandala here, mandala magic. So everything will have this. So today, with the challenges we face, teachers with this pandemic, we already had these, all these tools with us. You can actually use it in the notebooks. You can have it, give it to them in the classrooms. If not, you can use it in the smart boards. If not, you can actually use it in the virtual platform. So we have actually not left any stone unturned for you to reach to the children, even through these these barriers in front of us with these boxes that we have, we can still touch their hearts. So I think I would stop my art here. So here all our subjects are integrated here. Here we're talking about the festivals. If you have a look at this, we're talking about the stories. We are doing language development here, the monkey and the crocodile. So the teacher will narrate the story and make them color the crocodile with the poster colors by making dot impression. Probably taking the earbuds and taking the color and doing dot painting with it. Now the monkey with the crayons. So this is called the earbud painting, or you can also call them, the language development. So here we're talking about, and the monkey and the crocodile will also, all the activities would have the music. All right. So with this, I end with my, arts curriculum. Give me a second. Now, I would show you quickly how the Fitzroy Reader software also worked. Now I will take all the digital content to you. How our Fitzroy Readers look like, I will just share with you, everyone. So this is story number 1x to 10x. And this is the software will look like. So you will go choose your book from here. I would choose any book. So the Mud Hut, right? So then I will read the book with them here. So Priyali, tell me if you can hear it.
The Mud
All right,
Hut.
thank you.
Dad can
So basically
dig.
we're reading it out for them. And before we do it, like I said,
Old sound.
As in bug. M, a, d. Mud. H, a, t. Hut. A, p. Up. S, n.
This is the old sound
g,
that they did in the previous
snug.
story, right? So we are revising the old sound here, which is as in bug.
Now click on
Special words in the
special
story
words.
is
The,
the and of.
of.
Longer words.
Lift. Dump. Snug.
Click on the word that you hear.
Lift. Dump. The. Of.
Right, so this is
Snug.
how we can introduce our books first to them, read it out to them, and then there are a lot of questions.
Yes.
So after they read the story, they can actually do these activities. There are many of them. If the child wants to write, he can also write it down. So he can actually give it a name to this hut. So this can be hut, mud, hut. So anything that he wants to write, and he can hear it what he's writing.
Mud hut.
Or hut. So this is the name of a boy, hut, and you hear the questions, you can read it again. So this is our Fitzroy software. Again, teachers, you can do it virtually. You can actually do it in the smart boards, in the classrooms, in your language labs. So and you're reading it out again. You're reinforcing the story again and again to them in different ways, in a multi-sensory approach. So I stop my share here. Like my friend Priyali very clearly mentioned about the lovely digital content that we have, the games, the board games, the puzzles, the manipulatives. So I will quickly show you a glance of what kind of a video, what kind of a digital content we have. And I'm sure I would not take much of your time. We are just bang on time. So I will just quickly share that with you. And then we'll, do the question answer part. Priyali, please tell me if you can see my screen.
This is quantification, and we'll do this quantification with Dean's
I can't
block.
see. The video is not visible.
Let's see the numbers.
All right, I'll do it again. Just give me a second. I'll do it again.
Shwari Pavan is sharing.
All right.
You have disabled it. Can you enable him to share?
1 second. I haven't. I think I've got logged out. Just give me a second, please. I don't know how.
Okay.
More, so it will turn into 100.
Priyali, I think I've got, give me a second, please. But I'll just talk about how this content is made for the topics. Just give me a second, but I'll just come back.
Just a second, I'm sharing, Shefali.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Block. Let's see the numbers. Okay, the first number is 5670, which is we will pick 5,000s and put it down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we will pick 600s. 7 tens. And this is 0, so we will not pick anything. Let's go to the second number. Let's pick 7,000s. 100 and 4 tens. And again a 0. Let's see the addition. See, the tens is more, so it will turn into hundreds. And if the hundreds are more, it will bundle up and make 10,000s. Find and tap 10 number bonds of 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So this is the test generator for grade 1 EVS. You will see a question here with MCQs with the other answers. Choose the answer and go to the next level. And when you finish the assignment, you can submit it and then you will get the results. And then you have the next question. Look at the image and recognize which part of plant it is. Choose the right answer, submit it, and go to the next question. Again, you will find another question. You can also go to the previous question and repeat the question again. And on the right side of the screen, you will see number of questions attempted. This is another question. And this is how our test generator works for each level for all the subjects. And on the right side, you can see how many questions you've answered and how many you've skipped. Now, this is how our result would look like. How many corrected answers, how many incorrect answers. This is another raindrops app that we have. You have to choose the correct sound. So you have drops falling. So these are the games different games that you will see here for Hindi, English, Maths and EVS. For Hindi, it's Vyanjan. ऐसी 10 बूंदों को छुए जिनमें ध्वनि आए ज. So the child will look for the answers, the raindrops that have the sound j. And these are the games actually you can download on your mobile. So as many as boonde they will touch, they will get attempted. Yeah, you can choose your grade from here and the level, choose a subject. And you want to play a board game or puzzles. So let's play a board game. That's a car racing game for addition. You will have to roll the dice. You get a number. The car will move. And you get a question here. You choose the correct answer. Roll the dice again. And the car will move. 3 plus 6 is 9. Oh, the wrong answer. You banged and you went back. Wow. So let's go to another game. You choose another level. And again, we'll go to puzzles. This is the puzzle here. Let's try it out. So the child has to choose the right square. Okay, so number 8 with the number name 8. Okay, what will come before 44 is 43. Right. Okay, after 39 it is 40. Just so you're placing the right square to fill the maze. So only the right answer will come, or otherwise it will not take the square. Good job. So you can repeat this with different levels.
All right, so that was our digital content in the form of apps. So we've got our digital content for all subjects and in different ways. You can download it in your phones. Actually, they are Dean's block, they're manipulative, they are raindrop sounds for EVS, English, Maths, and Hindi. So everything is for, reinforcement. And my friend already shared about how our assessments are gamified already. So with this, we come to the end of what we had to tell you about NEP structure with SAAR. We come to a question answer session now. And the chat box is enabled now. I request you to, if you have any questions, please put in the chat box and we'll be happy to answer. So if you wish, you can just put in the chat box, and if anybody wants to, actually put themselves in unmute and ask, you're most welcome to do that. I hope everybody is able to use the chat box. I have enabled the chat box. Priyali, if you can stop share screen, and then, yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Right, so what I'll do is, you want the feedback form, I will paste it in the chat box. Give me a second while you can just ask your questions. In the meanwhile, I'll fetch the feedback form and send you in the chat box also. Give me a second, I'll do that.
So should I read out the question? There's a question.
I'm looking for the feedback form while you can just handle the chat.
Yeah, can you share the links for the same for unified assessments?
I would not be able to share it right now, but they can write it to us,
yes.
And I will then give it to them.
Yeah, you can write it to us and then we can. Thank you. Thanks for the wonderful session, especially the activities. Yes, we will have constant training and follow up for all the schools that are using our curriculum.
I'm putting the link in the chat box for you to fill up this feedback form and send it to us. You can right now also click and go to the feedback form directly from here and fill it for us. Yes, it's K-2 up to grade 2. So I see a lot of good remarks that we're getting. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much.
So in any case, nothing comes to your mind, you can always please write down to us, email it to us. If you have any questions, please. It's shifali@saareducation.com and priyali@saareducation.com.
This curriculum works on for CBSE. There's somebody who's asking for CBSE how to use your curriculum. It works with CBSE.
All right, since we do not have any questions, Priyali, you would say goodbye? And
I think so, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you all here. I want to thank the audience, as this webinar wouldn't have been possible or successful without our lovely audience. Thank you for taking our time to join this webinar and making it successful. Thank you so very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.